Good evening. My name is Ramses Ramos. I will be doing a presentation on helping students use textual sources persuasively. The author's name is Margaret Kantz. My section is 47L. And 1 second, and we shall start. Like I said, helping students use textual sources persuasively, and we shall begin. So the main problem that I saw reading this article was that the author, Margaret Kantz, is trying to help students use textual sources correctly. She talks about how often students that write essays using textual sources are not understanding the assignment and are most likely writing as if it were a narrative essay, which is completely, not completely wrong, but it is not in the way that it's intended to. So what are the main arguments or messages that the author gives? Kant's argues that there is a typical way students view textual sources essays, that they're often looked at in a very simple way, and that is very key. That is like a key point. You write facts down, you agree or disagree with those facts, and you align those resources or those the textual sources to your advantage or to however you want the essay to be the outcome. Kant's gives actually the reader a different approach on how to properly use textual evidence. The supportive evidence. So how does the author support his or her claims, arguments, or main messages? So students need to read text as arguments and think about rhetorical context in which they were written, rather than read them merely as a set of facts to be learned. What exactly does it mean? So writing an original persuasive argument based on sources requires a student to apply material to a problem or to use it to answer a question, rather than simply to repeat it or evaluate it. Some of the sources that Kantz gives, or her evidence, her supported evidence, is that she gives us 3 points. Many students, like Charlie, fictional character in the article, misunderstand sources because they read them as stories. That happens a lot, according to her, obviously. Many students expect their sources to tell the truth, hence they equate persuasive writing in this context with making things up. So as soon as they read the story, they automatically think it's true because it may be a history book, but what people don't understand is that sometimes histories can be deceived or persuaded towards the winning side, or the side that they're portraying. The third point is that many students do not understand the fact that they're kind of claim that are often used persuasively in so-called objective writing to create an impression. Like I said, these so-called facts, they're nothing but a claim. I could say that I am 6 foot tall. To me, I could say that's a fact, but I'm doing I'm creating an impression on my statement, and you really can't back up that or can really like argue with me, because unless you see me, you are gonna have to believe that. But like here, soon you'll see. Well, on the next slide. So the audience for this article, to my understanding, is the teachers. Even though the title does say helping students use textual sources persuasively, this article was written to help students, which can mean that teachers will help students. So in the title, it says helping students, and the Margaret Kantz is actually giving this or writing this article in a point of view of a teacher. Like an example of this is at the end of the article, she states, "We will be doing the most exciting work that teachers can do, nurturing creativity." This implies that when she says we, she's talking about the herself and the reader. And throughout the text, she keeps giving hints or keeps kind of like talking to like as if it were to a teacher. She's breaking it us, the reader. Well, not us. She's breaking it down to where the reader can understand, but at the same time, the target audience would be the teacher. So some of the solutions or the conclusions that where I was getting to earlier is that the author gives a list of techniques to further develop how to properly write about sources persuasively. So one of the things is think rhetorically, question the facts or arguments, like on that last slide, which is point 3. She says to question the facts because they're not always facts. They can be swayed to the side that they're trying to benefit from or the side that they're writing about. So if it was a historic book, well, is a historic, like look at other references. Don't just assume that it's a fact because it says it's a fact. Look at other references, and if there's like a conflict between them, or you see something off about it, question why, and that can lead you to more sophisticated writing according to this article. Apply gaps. So include gaps between the text and the reader, such as gaps could involve discrepancies of values, social conventions, language, or any other matter that the reader must consider. Another point is summarize main ideas. Construct your purpose for writing as you go. You can do this at the very beginning, sort of kind of like write down your ideas and what do you think your essay will be about. And as you progress, your essay evolves, and you have to keep up with your essay and summarize those main ideas. She also gives the constant feedback that teachers should set goals clearly or at least directly. If you give vague instructions, you will get vague answers. And there's another point that corroborates that the target audience is actually teachers, because she just keeps getting constant feedback to them. The characteristics, comments about the structure of the text. So actually, I enjoyed how the writer took her time to develop her argument. She explained what her problem was, gave an example and a point of view for us students to relate to, and proceed to lay out her argument and points of view as well as explaining them. So even though the target audience is teachers, she still made a character in order for us as well, the students, to be able to understand where she is coming from, pretty much. The final reflections, what are your final thoughts on the topic? I would like to add that this article brought some important and interesting factors to my attention. The most important being how teachers sometimes don't know how to relay their expectations, and this can impact how our work turns out. Like I say here, I admire Kant for establishing this bold but sometimes true statement. I can be attest to that. I was previously in the military, and it was hard if you didn't get a precise goal. And sometimes it was given to you on purpose. There was no set goal because it gave you the imagination, it gave you the power for your mind, or it gave you the creativity to come up with your own answers or come up with your own solutions. And I understand where teachers sometimes do that. But at the same time, if it's a new point or a new topic, it's kind of hard for students like myself to really know what the teacher wants. That's why sometimes they must relay their expectations, and then we would know exactly what the teacher wants, and we can sophisticate our essay in that way. So these are my discussion questions. If you, according to the article and my interpretation of it, I would like for you guys to answer. List 2 writing techniques Kans gives to better write when using textual sources. So what are some techniques that she gives us to further our writing, or sophisticate it, or consensualizes? I don't really know how to say it. Do you agree with my decision of choosing the audience as the teachers? Why or why not? I understand if you say yes or no, or you agree or you don't, because there is like kind of mixed flags of who the audience is, because the reader accommodates to us students by giving us kind of like a made up character so we can understand with our point of view, but it's constantly talking to teachers throughout the entire article. So we're excited. Kans Margaret helping students use textual sources persuasively. And yeah, thank you so much for your time.